Greetings. Welcome to another broadcast of I Have a Testimony. I'm your host, Brother Willie Muhammad.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.
Today, brothers and sisters, we are blessed to have with us our guest, Brother Zaki Shabazz, also known as Brother King Can. To me, brother is one of the youth leaders in the Nation of Islam, as well as a social media influencer. Here's a clip of our brother from his podcast speaking about the mindset and the mission of Black entrepreneurs.
The minister said that the science of business is the knowledge of how to satisfy the natural needs of a human being in the manner that pleases God. Stop. Now, in this society, we have been taught that chasing the bag is how we go about business. We have been taught that making money is the bottom line when it comes to doing business. So in that mindset, this is how we go about establishing business. We don't think about building rapport and relationships. We don't think about giving value. We don't think about how many people we can impact, but we are focused heavily on how much money we can make. How much money we can make. But the minister is telling us right here that the science of business is the knowledge of how to satisfy the natural needs of a human being in the manner that pleases God. So the scripture says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you.
Assalamu alaikum, dear brother.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. How are you?
I'm good by Allah's grace, man. But first, thank you, brother, for granting us the opportunity to have this interview with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would just like to thank you on behalf of, Student Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad for allowing me to be on the platform and for you having such a beautiful platform to have interviewed so many distinguished guests and to think of your brother to be of any of the worthies to be on this show, brother. I'm totally humbled and thank you for your invitation.
Oh, praises to Allah, man. You're more than worthy. So I like to jump straight into the interview. So I'll begin with this. Prior to us having this interview, you and I had a brief conversation.
Yes,
and that conversation really confirms to me the importance of providing the opportunity for believers to have the opportunity to tell their testimony. And you have a very interesting story about how you came to the Nation of Islam. Can you share with us how your grandfather and his journey to Islam?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So my grandfather came into the Nation of Islam in the early 50s. And this information is coming from my cousin as well as from my grandfather himself, who would sit down and talk to us about different things, specifically Brother Malcolm X, because my grandfather was on the security team for Brother Malcolm in Mosque number 7. So my grandfather came in the early 50s. He came in with Brother Clarence 13X. And from what my mother would tell me about the mosque in the 50s and the 60s under Brother Minister Malcolm and just the atmosphere in Mosque number 7, it was something to really be excited about. It was a lot of things going on. Brother Minister Malcolm, the crowds was coming out to hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Our people were engaged in the work of resurrection and also entrepreneurship, doing for self. If the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad made sure that the Nation of Islam had businesses, fish business. there were bakeries and banks and all of these different things. So entrepreneurship was in the air, and mosque number 7 was one of those lively mosques where the people were always out, and the Muslims was putting in the work. So my grandfather would talk about how they would train. And my grandfather was a serious martial artist. My cousin would tell me, because I would always see my grandfather's nunchucks in the garage, but I never knew what they was for. Like, I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff, and I would just mess around with them, but I didn't know, how you really use them. But then talking to my cousin, he would tell me how my grandfather would train them with the nunchucks and show them how to use them, and how my grandfather knew how to use them, and with serious martial arts, and how the brothers would train and things of that nature. So he was very inspirational in introducing me to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I remember sitting with him, and he would have a message to the black man in his room. And I would just see that. I would also see he would have a star and crescent on the wall. I never forget, it was a picture of a star and crescent that he would have hanging on the wall that would have the FGE standing for freedom, justice, and equality in his room. And, those are just different things I will remember. The Final Call newspaper, those are different things that I will remember. I would see my grandfather reading and things like that. And as we got older, my grandfather actually opened up a school where he was the teacher. And me and my brother went to his school, and he would teach us history. He would teach us math. He taught us our timetables and things like that. So he was very, very important in my I guess my thirst for knowledge, specifically history, because that's like my favorite subject. History and English are like my two favorite subjects. And again, my first exposure to the Nation of Islam and the teachers.
Ah, that's beautiful, man. I didn't know. I learned something new about your grandfather. You say it's very skilled in martial arts. And now, let's fast forward to 2016, right around 2016, 2017, when you begin to have your own experience with Islam. Can you talk about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So when it comes to the 2016, I was heavy with Dr. Umar and listening to a lot of Dick Gregory and things like that, right? I think that was around the time there was a situation. I think this was around the Trayvon Martin situation, but there was a lot of different things going on in the community. And I've been real vocal online in reference to what was happening. And again, I was listening to a lot of Dr. Umar, a lot of Dick Gregory and what they was talking about. But I came across Brother Ben X. And what happens on YouTube is you'll be watching something, and other people who are in that same category, they also pop up in the suggested videos. So that's how the algorithm works on YouTube. So as I'm watching the Dr. Umar or something like that, then Brother Ben will come up in the suggested videos, and that sparked my interest because I would see him and he would be in his class A, right? He would be in his black suit, red bow tie, and I'm like, man, it's a brother, the young brother in the Nation of Islam. Because I'm telling you, before this point, I didn't think there was like young people in the nation. I thought it was only like older brothers in the Nation of Islam. I didn't know that it was young people in the nation. So I saw Brother Ben's channel one day, and I said, let me see what brother talking about. So I watched his videos, and he would handle like current events and things like that. But the most unique thing about Brother Ben's videos was at the end of his videos, he would always say this line. He would say, the Nation of Islam is always irrelevant because it gives good guidance. And after that, he would go into a clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And once I heard the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan teach, I was done. I said, "Yep, that's it. That's it. I got to go, and I got to go tap into the mosque, because nobody could bring it like the minister. Umar and them was good. Dr. Dick Gregory was good. But nobody was bringing it with the power and the passion in the truth and the conviction, the way that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was doing it. And I had a brother in my neighborhood at the time, and me and him were working together, trying to, put something together where we would be able to galvanize the brothers in our community and, teach them and train them on how to protect the community. Right? Community policing. So I was trying to figure out a name for the organization. I was taking information from the Black Panther Party and trying to incorporate it in our rules in this group we was getting ready to start. And same thing, little pieces from the nation. And once I heard the minister, I said, I'm not about to beat my head and trying to start something new, a new organization. No, I'm about to go down here to the mosque. And that's what I started, going back to the mosque. I said, let me just go ahead down here and see what's going on.
Wow. Praise be to Allah for that, man. And so, I thought about this in preparing for this interview as well and developing the questions. When you look back over your journey to Islam, how appreciative are you over your grandfather's decision to accept Islam?
When I look at it now, I'm very appreciative for my grandfather's decision to join the Nation of Islam, not only for the rich history in the time in which he came in, which was the infancy of, the Nation of Islam, right? When it was really, still in the process of building. But also, I'm thankful because there in the 90s, because I was born in 89. So with the work that the minister did from 80 to 90, I wasn't even thought of. But in the 90s, I didn't have any exposure to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And all up and through the 2000s. At that point, they had taken the minister off of national television. I remember in like spurts where I would see the minister speaking on like C-SPAN or any of the news channels, because if anybody know, in the 90s, the minister was on all the major networks and they would interview him and things like that. But after the Million Man March, really, they started working to take him off. So when the 2000s came around and I was in middle school, I didn't see anything about the Nation of Islam. Really wasn't even a thought in my mind at that point. So it was actually his exposure, or him being in the Nation of Islam, that gave me the exposure, because we lived in the same house. And even though we wasn't going to the mosque on a regular and things like that, it was seeing Message to the Black Man. It was seeing that Star and Crescent. It was being taught prayers, because my grandfather taught us how to pray, and watching him do his rakahs and the prayer rug and all of that type of thing. All of that stuff that left an impression on me. So by the time 2016 came around, and once I heard the minister's voice, it was over. I didn't even have to second guess it.
That is beautiful. And it makes me think, those little bitty things that we can do as adults, and having the pictures around, having Message to the Black Man, letting our children see us pray, and other people, in our homes see us pray, the young folks, because the seeds are being dropped. Yes. And we see that later down the line, how they can actually be watered and manifest. So thank you for sharing that. We're coming up on our first break, my dear brother. And for those who are watching, continue to share this interview. I know most people are getting off from the mosque right now, and mosque just may be ending or whatnot. But please continue to share this video. Please continue to comment. If you have any questions, make sure you type them in the chat, and we'll be right back to hear more of this interview with our brother King Can. Peace.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps to combat false media. Cashapp NNV News.
And we're back to continue this interview with our guest, Brother King Cam. Now, when we left off, you were talking about the impact of what you saw growing up as a youth in your grandfather's home and him teaching you all how to pray and message to the black man. So I want to ask this question to you. What would you say to those young and old, right, who may be pondering accepting the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad and who may end up watching this interview either now or in a rebroadcast?
Yes, sir. I would say to whatever, if you're pondering joining the Nation of Islam, you should do it for you. Do it for yourself. Don't do it to please somebody else. Because if you do it based on pleasing somebody else, if you upset somebody or offend somebody because of what you may be learning and they don't understand, then that could cause you to sway on your conviction whether or not you're going to stay in the classroom with God. So do it for yourself. Do it because that's what makes sense to you. Do it because this is what you know in your heart where you should be. And everybody else, as long as they see you consistent and committed, they'll respect your decision. But if they know that you are someone who could be easily swayed, then they could drop seeds, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. It cause you to kind of be in halfway, out halfway, and things like that. Because, you know, a lot of the times we wanna come in and see what's going on. We got a lot of questions, but it's a lot of myths out there. You know, it's a lot of propaganda out there, and you know, we don't want to attach ourselves to a particular type of propaganda or, you know, anything that may be seen as hateful or anything like that. So you know, that will weigh on our decision and our level of commitment to something. So, you know, if you're thinking about it, number one, I would say do it for yourself. Be 100% committed would be the second thing. And number three, I would also suggest to find out as much information as possible. All the questions that you have, go to study group and ask those questions. Go to FOI class and ask those questions. If you're a sister, go to MTT class and ask those questions. And the more questions that you ask and you get answers to, the more comfortable you'll be in your decision.
Beautiful. And as we are talking about that, you know, as I started off the interview talking about you, to me, in my opinion, you're one of the young leaders rising up in our nation. You know, you are also one of the core young believers who have a presence on social media. So how important would you say social media is as a tool to the Nation of Islam in the work of resurrection?
I think it's a extremely important tool. Extremely important tool, because this is where the masses of our people are. And you know, the enemy has set it up where everything has to flow through social media. You know, people consume their news from social media. People consume their business education from social media. People consume, you know, everything, even to where they go to buy certain clothes or to be able to support different brands, find out information about events. Everything is online, and most of those online businesses or presences have also a social media arm. So for example, if they have a website, then they also have some type of social media presence, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or whatever the case may be. So everything is flowing through social media. So it is a very, very important tool for the Nation of Islam, because this is where the eyeballs are. And if the eyeballs are here, this is where we need to be, because the Nation of Islam is in the people business. So we need to be where the people at, and we need to be delivering the truth. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in the time and what must be done, he said to get on to Twitter and get onto social media and to educate the people, not get down in the dirt, in the trenches with our people, but to teach the people the truth of what we know, and to utilize social media as a tool. So it's the biggest tool that we have today that we can use in order to go after our people, because you can only come in contact with a certain amount of people throughout your day. and be able to minister to them. Because even on the block with the Final Call newspaper, there's cars coming in and out. So you only have a certain amount of time to talk to them about what's in the Final Call newspaper. But just imagine if you can sit down in front of your computer or sit down with your phone and take 30 minutes, an hour, and talk about that article in the Final Call newspaper. Now you got people that's all over the world, people that's in other states, people that may not be familiar with you, but interested in the topic that you're speaking on. Now you're ministering to them and possibly dropping the seed in them to help them get closer to the minister and the Nation of Islam. So it's very important, and it's an excellent tool that we could use if we use it properly in order to fish in our people.
Wow. And that's a great response. And then follow up to that question, you know, based upon what you have read, heard, and seen in the world of social media, you know, how would you say the Nation of Islam is viewed in this social media world?
I would say that the Nation of Islam is actually viewed overall in a good lens. It's viewed overall in a good lens. You have a section of the population who wants to use the Nation of Islam's influence to help build their influence. So they'll create rooms and forums and content that tries to discredit the Nation of Islam in order to use the influence of the Nation of Islam to try to build up their platform. But majority of the time, most of the people view the Nation of Islam in a beautiful light. And you would be surprised at how many clubhouse rooms that I've been in, how many conversations that I've engaged in. People DM me on Instagram about how the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad changed their life, how the messianic message of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan changed their life and caused them to maybe not be a registered member, but to start living a righteous life. So it's people out here who are not wearing bow ties and headpieces who have been affected in a positive way by the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. There are people who have their lives have been saved from a word that the minister gave in a lecture. There are gangs that were able to come to peace terms based on the influence and the engagement of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. So just because you don't see somebody with a headpiece and a bow tie does not mean they're not with Farrakhan. Does not mean that they haven't been touched or affected by the word that the minister has spoken. And that's what's important. The first work is to deliver the dead to the Lamb of God. That's the work. So not deliver all of the people necessarily to be registered, but deliver the people so that they can change their lives from an unrighteous life to a righteous life. So on social media, again, camel back into the previous question, this is why it's such a tool. Because again, you're able to speak to the masses of the people inside of your living room. You're able to speak to the masses of the people inside your car, and you're able to develop a community where you're giving them what we have in the self-improvement study guides. And the minister said that self-improvement is the basis for community development. So before we can get out here and rally the troops in the community, we first got to deal with self. And you're able to create communities based on the study guides, based on the books that you have, based on the information that you have. And you can do it all from the comfort of your home through video content and speaking on social media. So while a lot of people say that social media has a lot of negative things on there, a lot of things that we shouldn't be engaging in, how social media allows these certain things to happen. Yeah, that's true. But now you should be the one to put the positive on the social media. You should be the one to put something righteous on social media. You should be the one to teach and elevate the thinking of the people now because you got some different information. So this is what you can do with social media, and that's the power of it if you use it in the proper manner.
For response, man. And I like how what you said in regards to is where our people are. And some people can try to deny that as not, but Black folks are on social media, and we better believe that. So I would like to ask you this question, because you kind of touched on it in regards to if there are those who want to begin to start being more engaging with the teachings on social media, what advice would you give to those who have that desire to talk more about the teachings, talk more about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan online, but may not know how they should do it? What are some simple ways or simple things they can do?
Yes, sir. I would just tell everybody to go with what you know, right? Go with what you know. Teach what you know. One thing that I know about Brother Ben X and what he does online is that Brother Ben X does not go out of his lane. He stay in his lane. So Brother Ben is going to talk about entrepreneurship. He's going to talk about what the minister has said as it pertains to entrepreneurship, doing for self, what the lessons say when it comes to luxury, money, good homes, friendships, and all walk of life, right? The minister talks about sales and becoming a salesman. So Brother Ben X stays in that lane. He don't get all off into who Master Farrakhan Muhammad is, and getting all into the jabs and who created the jabs and do all of that kind of stuff. He stay right in his lane. Brother RZA, he gonna talk to you about the jab. He gonna talk to you about what the CDC got going on. He gonna talk to you about all of that different stuff, the scientific stuff. So the brothers know the lane that they in, and they stay in that lane. So for anybody who may be interested in speaking on the teachings, if all you read is Message to the Black Man, stay in Message to the Black Man. You don't even have to think of nothing. Just read Message to the Black Man. Just pick a chapter and read it, and then have an open discussion about it. That's literally all you have to do. You don't have to think of no new words. You don't have to think of no new lectures or speeches that you need to put together in your mind. The minister has millions of words out here on YouTube. You just got to go find them and play his clips and have a discussion about what the minister said. You can read from the messenger's books and to have a discussion about what the messenger said. You don't have to do much. You just have to represent to the people what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has given to us to rescue our people. That's all we have to do.
Beautiful. So thank you for that response. And I hope those who are listening, brother gave it some very simple things. And one of the things we have to do is just start. Don't fall victim to what we call paralysis by analysis, right? So just get started. Now, we're coming up on our next break. And when we come back, we're going to have more of this interview with our brother. And if you have any questions for those who are watching, don't hesitate. Don't be scared to type them in the comment section so we can get these questions in that you have to our brother. We'll be right back.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps to combat false media. Cashapp NNV News.
AsiaticMinds.com, the curriculum of study from the University of God's Mind. Education that enhances the quality of learning through a virtual school system. The science of mathematics, communication, and deductive reasoning. Our children are the future. Invest in your destiny. To enroll now, visit AsiaticMinds.com.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Thank you for tuning in to NNV News. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, National Network View. This is Clifton Muhammad with NNVnews.com.
Muhammad's economic blueprint, the collective power of our dollars to build a future for ourselves. With 5 cents a day, 35 cents a week, $1.40 a month, and $18.20 a year multiplied by 16 million wage earners would give us $291 million in 1 year. Everyone can give 35 cents a week as an investment in our future. Donate now and see what our pennies, nickels, and dimes can accomplish. Visit economicblueprint.org.
And so we're back with our brother King Cam. And now you spoke about how use an example of Brother Ben, you staying in his lane. You talked about Brother RZA staying in his lane. And I also noticed from my observation of you, you are carving out a certain niche as well in what you're doing. And I looked on your Instagram page and you say you're a branding consultant. Can you talk about what that actually entails?
Yes, sir. So I am one of the original students in Brother Ben X's digital real estate program. And before I became a student in his program, I was in promotions and marketing because I would do promotions for clubs and for throwing parties and things like that. And when Facebook and Instagram, had first came out, a lot of people was putting their, promoting their flyers and things like that. But uh, I come to find out that there was no real strategy behind what I was doing anyway, right? I had created a blog online, where I would chronicle my promotions and marketing on college campuses and then nightclubs and things like that. So just putting out content, but I didn't have a real strategy behind what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to grow on social media. So when I found Brother Ben X and I heard him say that he was actually going to be putting together a program to teach people how to grow, because I found him on YouTube and he had 147,000 subscribers on YouTube at the time. So I knew the brother knew what he was talking about. And he also had a Facebook following as well. So I knew he knew what he was talking about. So I said, as soon as he opened it up, I'm going to get into his program. And being in that program, I followed his blueprint on how to grow and how to build up my audience online. And from that, I now teach people what I know. I teach small businesses and other brands how to build a presence on social media. So I consult them through my coaching program and through my community now that's actually going to be launching on July the 1st, called the Influencers Group, where we're going to be discussing social media growth tips and strategies. People are going to have an opportunity to have a Q&A with myself. And also you're going to have access to other industry people such as Brother Ben X, other people who are familiar with promotion and marketing and things of that nature, who can come into the community and also teach what they know as well. So, I was already in that branding and marketing promotion lane. And what I learned from Brother Ben X on social media just allowed me to amplify it. And now I just go and I just replicate, those same strategies to different clients who have a business or a brand or products and don't know how to get in front of the people. Because what I learned in business is that only thing we know about business is I know how to do something, or I have something I can sell. Let me go out here and sell it to the people. It's no real strategy on how I'm going to continue to uh, get sales after I exhaust my immediate circle. So promotion and marketing to our people is not something that we even budget out or carve out as a functioning part of our business, when it's an integral part of the business, because this is how you continue to make sales. This is how you continue to be in front of the people, in front of your particular audience, and continue to make sales and to cultivate those relationships with your past customers that ultimately help you get future customers, right? So that part of social media marketing and branding is still so foreign to a lot of our people. And that's where I'm feeling the need, coaching people on how to do it themselves, as well as offering services to do it for them. So that's what my branding consulting brand is based on.
Great, man. And when we're talking about branding and in the public, out of all of the social media apps, which one would you say provides the best opportunities to help the public gain a better understanding of the Nation of Islam, if you had to select one?
I with right now, if I had to select one right now, I would say TikTok. Because TikTok the algorithm on TikTok is still pretty organic. So that means they're not forcing creators to have to pay for advertisement pay for ads in order to show their content to all of their followership or all of their viewership. So because of that, it allows you to put out good content, and it's able to catch fire and have an opportunity to reach the masses of the people. They have a short form video, but they also have as long as 3 minutes on TikTok as well. So it doesn't have to just be a 60-second clip, but you can go up to 3 minutes as well. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds, versus like Facebook and YouTube with more long form content, video content. Instagram with the reels is more the short term content. So I would say TikTok right now is probably the best one. But YouTube is still good as well as it pertains to getting the message out of the minister, because it's still so many lectures. It's brothers out here that built channels just strictly with the lectures of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So you able to go back and watch a lot of those lectures. They haven't removed them or anything like that. So YouTube is also still a good place to get the knowledge and the message of the minister as well.
Talking about those different social medias, what about Clubhouse, man? Because I know I've been on some of them Clubhouses with you.
Yes, Clubhouse is good. Clubhouse is really good as well. What I would say as it pertains to like any of them, what mainstream media wants you to stay away from, obviously, is influencing the public with what they call misinformation or disinformation, dealing with particular things, specifically with the jab. So if it's dealing with that, then any of the social medias are likely to snatch you down, dealing with that. Other than that, though, you pretty much are able to freely express and teach on anything on any of the social media platforms. So Clubhouse is very, very good because it's audio, and you can multitask a lot with Clubhouse because you don't have to be stuck sitting somewhere actually having to type, but you can move around. So I know it's a lot of people that be on Clubhouse that host rooms and stuff like that. They're at work, but they're able to multitask because it's an audio app. So that's really, really good as well. So I think it's good. You just have to be conscious and wise about the discussions that you have because they're recorded on Clubhouse. So you just have to be conscious and wise about the discussions because some of them on Clubhouse are sensitive to certain subjects and things like that. So you just have to be wise on the information. But for the most part, you're able to talk to the people and host good study groups. But you just got to figure out how to navigate.
Yeah, that's like those Clubhouse rooms last a long time, man. And since we're talking more on this social media, you kind of touched on it. But I want to ask you, give you the opportunity to provide a more in-depth response to this as well. Why do you think the ban of the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan on various social media platforms was not successful? Because if you didn't hear anything about a ban, you couldn't tell that the minister wasn't on it outside of him not having his own accounts.
Yes, sir. It was unsuccessful because it makes me think about the fire, and you can correct me because I am paraphrasing, but the fire that will come out of the dragon's mouth, or the flood that will come out of the dragon's mouth, is symbolic in scripture to the propaganda that would come out against God's man in our midst, right? But the scripture also says that the earth would open up and swallow that propaganda. So when they try to, as they've been doing for the last 20 plus years, is try to smear the name of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and character assassinate him in the public, what the ban did was allow for the students and followers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to now come up and continue to share the wisdom that they have been watching and feeding on behind closed doors. So once we figured out how we can clip these YouTube lectures and start putting those clips out, and the guidance and the wisdom of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and saw how much the people were so receptive to it, that was the earth swallowing up the propaganda or the flood that was coming at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because they were able to now directly hear his words. And that's what the enemy was trying to do. They was trying to cut him off So the people would not be able to hear his words, and they could feed you his words, even though they were the ones who would make mischief with the minister's words. So you combat that with the minister's own words, and the people say, "Nah, you can't fool us with that. We heard what the minister said. We following such and such, or we done seen this clip such and such, or we done watched this lecture because they played this such and such." So you're not able to get over on us like that. So the ban they thought was just getting rid of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's personal accounts, but they didn't account for the fact that he has many followers, many soldiers out here who are willing to put his clips, his lectures, and his books and information out in front of the masses so they'll be able to consume it. So at this rate, they would just have to take down everybody's social media account, because when they took down the minister, somebody else pop up. They took down Brother Ben, somebody else pop up. They take out Brother RZA, somebody else pop up. So it's like whack-a-mole going on social media. Every time the enemy knocks somebody down, somebody else popping up, and somebody else popping up till they can't stop it. So the spirit of Christ now is in the people. The spirit of Christ now is in the people. So in scripture, when it says that, it's talking about the seed, the idea, the Christ consciousness that Jesus was teaching to the people. Once it is rooted in a firm resting place, now the Jesus can go off of the scene and it'll be like he never left, because the idea and the knowledge and the wisdom is rooted in the people, and that's what they're going to continue to teach the generations moving forward.
Great. And I'll ask you this question before we go into our break, because you mentioned about, the trouble that RZA had and others. How have you navigated, that space where you're able to still promote the teach and share with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? Like, how have you dealt with the potential of possibly your pages being eliminated?
Yes, sir. Well, I have had strikes on my Instagram account. I've had strikes on my TikTok account. I've had them on YouTube and on Facebook. My Facebook page is, I believe, now permanently strike, where I'm not able to monetize on my Facebook page due to what they call community violations and things of that nature. So that just comes with the territory. That comes with the territory, and understanding what was taught in digital real estate. For me, it's just about having not multiple streams of income, but actually multiple avenues. So while I can still put out lectures of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we can speak on other things that don't violate the community news, or community rules. So because you are speaking from a place that may not be mainstream media, that doesn't necessarily violate the community rules. So again, just understanding what it is that they're looking for, and being able to shift and pivot in a way that you can still stay true to the message, but don't allow yourself to be banned, then that is a good thing. And I mean, honestly, for someone like RZA, who has a very large platform, way larger than mine, him and Ben, obviously the more visibility that you have, then of course they're going to work 10 times as harder to try to take you down. So again, you just have to navigate this thing. And also, what I do on my podcast is promote Black media, independent Black media, because the more the people involve themselves and support the independent grassroots Black media outlets, then there's really nothing that mainstream media can do that can stop the rise. When you see a lot of these independent Black media outlets, they are now becoming the dominant sources of information for our people. People not watching CNN anymore. People not watching MSNBC and all of these mainstream media outlets anymore. They're coming to YouTube to find a NNV News. They're coming to watch a Brother Ben X podcast. They're coming to watch a Tariq Nasheed radio and get the information from there. Why? Because they trust those people who giving the information. The government has a history and a resume of lying to the people, and it's being exposed, because in this day, all wickedness has to be exposed. Falsehood must be exposed, because this is the days of Allah. This is the days of God. So now the light is here, and everything that's been done in the dark is coming to the light. So now all of those mainstream media outlets, Fox News and CNN with Don Lemon and all of them people like that, all of that stuff is being exposed. So the people now are no longer interested in being lied to. They want to know the real. They want to know the truth, and they want to have solutions to their problems so that they can change the reality of their condition. So black media is winning right now. And I would tell all of the people to make sure that you support all black media outlets so we can continue to put this message out and put pressure on those who do not bring the quote unquote influencers or those in the culture who are speaking the message of truth and righteousness to their platform. Because you got a lot of good ones out here, that $1 million worth of game, Breakfast Club, and all of that kind of stuff. Man, put pressure on them and say, hey, look, bring this brother up, bring this sister up, so we can make sure that they are getting the same recognition as the rappers and everybody else, because it's that time now. It's not just about entertainment, but we got to have education so that we can survive what's coming down the pipe.
Sure, like KRS-One said, KRS-One called it edutainment. So if you're here, brothers and sisters, if you're feeling this interview, hit the like button, hit the emojicons, or the emojis, all that type of stuff. I got caught up, but I'm enjoying what our brother is sharing, and we'll be back to conclude this interview. But we got a few more questions to ask our brother. We'll be right back.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps us to highlight solutions for a brighter tomorrow. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.
AsiaticMinds.com, the curriculum of study from the University of God's Mind. Education that enhances the quality of learning through a virtual school system. The science of mathematics, communication, and deductive reasoning. Our children are the future. Invest in your destiny. To enroll now, visit AsiaticMinds.com.
The hashtag Bank Black social media campaign made strides not only in revolutionizing how we bank, but also how we think. The movement inspired thousands of African Americans across the country to transfer or deposit millions of dollars into Black-owned banks. These are banks that will invest in urban communities, employ African Americans, support Black businesses, and inspire Black home ownership. This is a very proud moment for our culture as we are taking small, but significant, steps towards building Black power through Black wealth.
Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel at National Network View. I am Anissa Muhammad with nnvnews.com.
And we're back, brothers and sisters, as we get ready to close out this interview. But I want to ask our brother this question. I know you haven't had the opportunity to meet the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as of yet, but I know that the minister keeps his eyes and ears, and he has people that tells him what's going on social media. I wouldn't be surprised if he's aware of what you're doing as well and proud of it. So I'll ask you this question. This show is called I Have a Testimony. And it was really created to give people the opportunity to testify of what they have experienced with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, or what they have observed of the minister, so that those who haven't experienced or observed the same, they can get a better idea of this man that's in our midst. So if you had the opportunity to stand before the world and testify of some quality of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, what would that quality be?
If I had a chance to stand before the world and speak on a specific quality of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, That quality would be love. Love. Because all of the other qualities that the minister has, I believe, comes out of his love for our people. Because without the heart and the love that the minister has for God and for his people, the minister would not do the work that the minister has done for 60 plus years. He would not do that work. So the love that the minister has is what gives way to his passion, to his courage, to his authenticity and his honesty and his impeccable work ethic is out of love. It's similar to the love of a mother. And what a mother goes through to be able to take care of her child, that's an unconditional love. She gets up and goes to work, maybe working 2 and 3 jobs. That's unconditional love. Even though her body may be tired, even though she may not be feeling like doing it, it's unconditional love that drives her to do that. It's unconditional love that she does whatever it is that she needs to do to make sure that her children lack and want for nothing. And it's from that same motherly type love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan works tirelessly on the behalf of Black people in America and as a voice for all poor and oppressed people all over the world. And it's from that love that he's able to touch and to resurrect as many people from the mental and spiritual graveyard that he has been able to, because it stems from that love. And people are able to feel it when you real, Brother Willie. People are able to feel it when you real. And that's what is part of the attracting power of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is because he's not telling you no lies. That's what a lot of people say in the comment section. When I post a clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and they say, man, preach, brother minister, we know you're going to tell the truth. You're going to tell it. We know you're going to keep it real. So people know that. And they know and are able to connect and resonate with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when he speaks. So for me, when I first heard the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I knew he was telling the truth. I knew that was it. And the way that the minister say it is how you supposed to say it. When you talking to the enemy, that's how you supposed to say it. And the reason why we haven't had the progress that we should have is because these so-called Negro leaders who go on behalf of us to sit down with these presidents and these Congress people and these senators and all of that stuff on behalf of us, they don't say it right. They don't lay it down the way it's supposed to be laid down to let the people know that we not playing. So when you hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speak, he says it in a way that you're supposed to say it in order to get the reaction that's necessary. And he's telling the truth, and that's the authenticity, and all of that comes from the love that he has for his people.
Oh, man, beautiful testimony, brother. Spot on with what you said in your words. And as we get ready to close, was there anything you wanted to say during the interview but did not have the chance to? So this is your opportunity to feel free to say it. And also, as you close out, let the viewers know how they can get in contact with you or follow you on social media.
Yes, sir. I would just say, for those people who are interested in expressing more of the Nation of Islam, of what you know of the Nation of Islam, or somebody who may be interested in knowing more, social media allows for you to learn more without having to get outside of your comfort zone, so to speak. So sometimes, coming to the mosque or somebody inviting you to the mosque may be a little bit intimidating at first because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going on and things of that nature. But the more familiar you get with the teachings, and the more familiar you get with the people and the process of the mosque, as you watch the lectures on YouTube and on social media and things like that, and as people talk about the process of the mosque, right, and coming in, that's something that we should be talking about. What to expect when you come to a Nation of Islam mosque meeting, right? So people can know, and when they know, they get more comfortable with it. And I believe that will allow for more people to say, let me go down here to the mosque and check it out. I've been watching them, the national broadcast on Sunday. I've been watching some self-improvement stuff. I've been seeing some different clips and things like that. So thoroughly being fed now, I feel like I want to go down there and ask some questions and do some things like that. So, social media is just such a huge fishing tool. I believe the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is extremely proud with the work that all of us are doing on social media. We're keeping him and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad out front because, again, like I mentioned before, this is the day of truth. So everything that they tried to put on the minister, put on the messenger, put on the Nation of Islam, all of that stuff is being busted up now. It's being busted up now. And the only solution for the problem between black and white in America is separation, as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated. And we're seeing now that the Nation of Islam, as Brother Ben would put it, is always going to be relevant because we give good guidance. And the guidance today coming from the Nation of Islam is the only guidance that's helping to save our people and dodge these different bullets that's out here, whether it be famine that's on the way, whether it is the economic issues, whether it is healthcare and dietary issues, all of that stuff we have here in the Nation of Islam available not only to registered members, but to everybody that is willing to listen and to execute on the information that they receive. So it's wide open. So that's what I would have to say. I wanted to say that earlier, but it's so much more that we could say, Brother Minister Willie. We could be here for a while just discussing the Nation of Islam and the impact that it's had on my life. And many people don't know that I also have a Christian church background as well. Because after going to Muhammad University and things of that nature, I also was in the church, very active in the church as a choir member, usher, and things of that nature. So I have to believe that exposure to that as well helped to produce a well-rounded foundation for me to be able to go in and out of different houses of worship and be able to sit down and discuss and talk about biblical texts and Quranic texts and, all of those different things with our people. To help them come to the realization and reasoning of the truth of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So if you want to know where to find me, you can find me on all social media platforms at Brother King Cam. If you Google Brother King Cam, it'll come up. You'll be able to see all of the different platforms and things like that. I do a weekly podcast called the Campaign TV Show as well. You can catch that every week. Actually, we have a episode coming up this Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Student Minister Brother Nuri Muhammad as well. So that's going to be an excellent show. You want to tune into that. So you can find me on all of those social media platforms at Brother King Cam.
Thank you, my brother. And may Allah continue to bless you in the work that you all are doing, because in this age, in this modern technology, and I do believe that this social media and this internet is part of that modern technology, that this modern equipment that the lion in the cage got access to. So I thank you all for the work that you all are doing in battling, and not only just battling, but it's just promoting the teachings, giving the example, and as you said, giving people an opportunity where they can experience us before actually experiencing us. So make sure you follow our brother online, man, and may Allah continue to bless you and your family. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing, brother?
Sir, definitely.
And I want to also salute you,
praise be
Brother Minister Willie, because it's a struggle for a lot of people who are not used to social media, right? Not used to talking to a camera or talking to a phone and being able to interact with our people via social media. But you are one of the seasoned soldiers who have taken and embraced the modern technology, right, of social media, and started to utilize it as a tool to be able to push the message of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to the masses. So I just want to salute you, because it's real. It's a different thing when you've been doing something for 20 years a particular type of way, and then something new get introduced, and that thing is like man, I see it working, but I gotta go back to school and learn how to do this. I gotta how to edit videos on my phone and putting out content, and man. So man, just shout out to you for really embracing that and being one of the forerunners as well on social media with educating the people and being a representation of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So shout out to you, brother.
And I thank you all, man. I learn from you all, brother. Trust me, I'm observing and taking notes, and anything I have questions about, I ask. So thank you all for being willing to share that information, and whatever I can do to support you all, don't hesitate, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And thank you all we have our brother on here. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you share this interview. I'm telling you, he's one of our rising stars in the Nation of Islam, doing it in a new way in this new time. So we'll get straight to our announcements, but make sure you share this interview. Make sure you follow our brother on social media and check out his upcoming interview as well. So for those who are here, we're still in our effort to raise money for our mosque here in the city of New Orleans. So, you know, we're trying to get 1,400 people to give $100. We're a little bit under 1,400, so people have been giving. You can hit us up on Cash App. You can go to GoFundMe, PayPal, or reach out to me, and we'll make sure that you can get the information so we can pay off our note. And in addition to that, what we have, if you're in need of prayer, brothers and sisters, in this day and time, please send us an email so we can submit your name, the name of your family member, to our prayer circle as well. And then in addition to that, you're going to see he's going to bring up some of my books. And I just wrote a new book. We'll have it up, but you can go on my Instagram page. It's on the principles of conflict resolution. So make sure you check that out. You can get that on Amazon as well. And make sure you continue to subscribe to NNV, National Network View. You can follow me at brother Willie _ Willie on Instagram. So may Allah continue to bless you. Thank each and every one of you all for tuning in. Peace.
Go home and study. See, many of you don't study your religion. Go ahead. And you think you're going to attain something without study. But if you believe in something, you need to study it so you can become proficient in what you do. Now watch this.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.